Hell Followed With Us by Andrew Joseph White. Benjamin. Chapter 27. And so will I go in unto the king, and if I perish, I perish. Esther 4:16. Before I left for Reformation Faith Evangelical Church, Nick told me that 99% of lying is just figuring out what the other person wants to hear. He said it's what the angels have always done, and I laughed because otherwise it would have hurt too much to acknowledge. The other 1% is keeping your story straight. And if you read the Bible cover to cover, it's clear the angels don't care about that. So feed them a steady diet of their own bullshit until they choke on it. If Theo wants to hear I've been driven from my friends, then that's what I'll tell him. I'll tell him I want to go back to New Nazareth. I'll tell him anything. But I can't call this home anymore. It's been a month since I last saw New Nazareth, and it is the mouth of hell. Death Squad soldiers stand at attention by the gate, their graces wheezing and coughing. Snipers lurk behind curls of barbed wire at the top of the wall, some keeping an eye on the road from the shade of the stairs. Bodies of non-believers hang in various stages of rot. Between them, giant letters scream, God loves you. Repent, sinners. The time has come. Trust in the Lord and you will be saved. Flies buzz in an incessant cloud, and when the wind hits right, I smell it. I hear it too. The crowd on the other side of the gate. Word must have gotten out that their saviour is coming home. Through the narrow slats in the gate, an ocean of bodies presses forward, desperate for a look, a touch, a whisper, anything. A reverend on the other side preaches. All our troubles have a part. Our groaning, our burden, they are his plan. Arms raise, fists beat on chests. They shape us so we may see his truth, so that we may work, we may fight. And we have worked and we have fought, and today our suffering will bear fruit. My flesh is a single, perfect, God-given fig meant to feed all the hungry. I am their saviour in angel whites and skin peeling off the bone. Are you ready? Theo asks. I can't answer. Sister Kipling looks over at us and says nothing. She's gilded like a saint, and I want to tear her apart. I want to ruin her. I want to make her hurt the same way she hurt me. Vengeance is mine. I will repay, saith the Lord. A gate guard bellows, clear! And it's met with the roar of motors and the rattle of chains. The gates creak apart. Gracious shake themselves and stamp their feet. I reach out to each, whispering that it's okay, to find solace because I'm going to buzz out of my skin with the strength of their emotions. The preaching turns to a cry. We have sown seeds with our suffering, and now it is time to reap what we are due. I can do this. I trust the ALC to do this too. Clang. The gates come to a rest, and the mouth of hell is open. There are so many people waiting. A sea of white robes and white faces, painted with grass stains, dirt, and the golden grey of the clergy. Soldiers, children, and everyone I've ever known. The preaching stops, and the silence is a physical thing, crushing down on all of us, a vacuum left in the aftermath of hundreds of people sucking in a breath. There's no oxygen left. Or maybe that's just my lungs liquefying between my ribs, choking the air out of my chest. This is all for me, because I have come back, because I have saved them. The death squad escorting us start toward the crowd, and they crush forward to meet us. A tide, 1,000 prayers rising from the earth. The soldiers tighten around us, their bodies a wall, but hands still stick out between them. Someone snags my jacket. A nail hooks Sister Kipling's robes. Seraph, a woman cries, cradling a baby to her chest. Bless you, bless you. Every face is one I left behind. Sister Faring, a young mother who helps teach Sunday school and smiles when Sister Mackenzie describes what it's like to burn in hell. Brother Gailey, an old man who spends his days in the chapel atrium and critiques the apprentice reverends with a raspy growl. Sister Claire, who is my age, barely, clutching her mother's sleeve. We weren't friends, but sometimes we shared snacks, and that was good enough for us both. There's a deep whining in my throat, animalistic and terrified, like the nest in Reformation. Theo pulls me closer, his body warm and solid against mine. A grace tugs away from their handler, overwhelmed by the noise, and people surge back to avoid them. I whisper them back, begging them to quiet, to not make things worse. I'm scared. I'm scared too, I know. We reach the edge of the swarm of believers, a squadron of soldiers breaking away from the mob to follow while others bellow for them to disperse. We're in the middle of the final road to New Nazareth, the desiccated corpse of Pennsylvania Christian University, surrounded by parking lots turned to farmland and squinting against the sun glaring off Kincaid Chapel. The river, the same river I used to cross to Acheson County, loops around campus, trapping Acheson between water and this awful colony. Where to, sister? The head soldier asks me. The dorms. I can't be out here any longer. The dorms, please. But before we can flee, a monster emerges from the crowd like the sun emerging from the clouds. She is wrapped in white and gold, a cross burned into her bare neck, a wedding ring glinting on her finger as if she didn't order a death squad to shoot her husband between the eyes. Tattoos crawl up her arms and jaw, demons and angels and Genesis and Armageddon, and every other beautiful and terrible thing. I shrink back against Theo even as I hate myself for it, the way I always did when we were still together. He holds me close like nothing has changed at all. The head soldier lowers his head in greeting. Reverend Mother Woodside. Mum is stunning. She is disgusting. Welcome home, Brother Millward, she says. All of you. Her eyes find mine, and she smiles, so soft and gentle. A mother shouldn't be gentle when seeing her missing child for the first time in weeks. She should cry with relief and hold their cheeks tight to make sure it's them, that they're all right, that everything is okay now. Isaiah 49:15. Can a woman forget her sucking child, that she should not have compassion on the son of her womb? If she had compassion for me, I can't remember it. Mum doesn't hold me. She doesn't touch me. She just smiles. Like she knew I'd come crawling back to her eventually. Like everything had been set in stone long before I had ever arrived on this earth, and she has just been waiting for it all to come to pass. And welcome home, she says. Esther. No. The Graces shriek. It's a chorus of screams loud enough to drown out the ringing in my ears. A flock of ducks erupt from the Kincaid Chapel pond, their wings clapping in a rush of feathers. A string of saliva falls from the corner of my shredded mouth. Esther. I hadn't realized how much I hated that word until I spent so long free of it. As soon as I told Dad I was a boy, he'd never let it pass his lips. Nick and Aaron saw the word on the document, but to them my name was Benjamin and would always be. The Watch and the ALC never knew me as anything else. Not Esther, not Seraph. Nobody and nothing but Benji. Something else is screaming too, and I realize it's me. I should kill her. I should tear through the delicate arteries in her neck, and the taste of it would be sweet, ruining her white robes and the blinding paleness of her skin. This is Seraph burning me alive. The fury, the anger. This is what I am. This is what I need to do. It is an inferno, and I am meant to raise the angels to the ground, and I am more than happy to start with this one person. But I can't, because if I kill her now, New Nazareth will fall into chaos, and I can't let that happen. Not yet. I need time for Nick to organize and get the ALC into position tomorrow. I need to buy the angels' trust. I need New Nazareth to let its guard down. There are guns pointing at me again. At my legs, at my knees, right where it will be easiest to incapacitate me. They could still put a bullet in me to keep me down. Theo clings to my shoulders, whispering against my neck, begging me to stay calm the way I begged the Graces. I wrestle back the monster even as I see feathers flitting in my vision, even though I can taste her blood. Not now. Not yet. Mum says, "You made it just in time for Wednesday service, dear. Why don't we get you cleaned up?" Chapter 28. Now is the time for the faithful to come together. Bring only what you can carry. Bring only who you wish to save. The cloister order. I can tell you'll only wear robes, Theo says. I barely hear him over the rushing of blood in my ears, the static threatening to swallow me whole. He hovers by the door to what used to be and is now again my room, as if I'll break if he comes too close. Get you out of that. Please stop talking. It isn't right. You shouldn't have to. Stop. My voice shatters. That must be what finally gets the point across. Theo stares at the rough dormitory carpet, so he doesn't have to look at me. I wish I didn't have to look at me either. I wish I didn't have to look at anything. There's a mirror on my desk, and I'm going to shatter it if I spend one more second here. I was supposed to be free of this room, with its blinds that never close all the way, the drawings I did with a stolen pen on the wall above my ugly Spartan bed, with the particle board desk, shitty chair, and cross hanging by the door. I knew it would hurt to come back, but I want to slam my fist into the mirror until pieces of glass jut out of my knuckles. I want to tear myself apart so I don't have to see myself like this. Breathe. Dad told me that I am a man, and nobody can take that from me. I am a man no matter what Mum makes me wear. Besides, guys in the ALC wore skirts and dresses sometimes, and they were still men. It doesn't make me a girl. It doesn't make me a girl. Besides, nobody wears masks inside the walls of New Nazareth, so everyone will see my razor-sharp, jumbled mess of teeth and rotting flesh. I could pull out one of my fingernails and not feel a thing. When people look at me, the first thing they'll think is a monster, is seraph, not girl. But I'm wearing the white dress from my engagement ceremony, from my unveiling as Seraph's host. It hugs my waist and lays embroidery across my chest as if demanding that you look. My hair is too long, reaching the nape of my neck, and my name is Esther again. Within the walls of New Nazareth, I am a girl, and God, I don't know if I can do this. I deserve this. I have to repent for the mistakes I've made. I want to destroy everything I see, but it's just easier if I don't fight back. I need to save my strength for the absolution, and I deserve it, don't I? If it's happening, I must deserve it, right? Repent ye, therefore, that your sins may be blotted out. Just, I say, don't say anything to Mum. It isn't right, Theo whispers. I love you. No, he doesn't. He burned the ALC. He killed my people. He did this to me. I want to bludgeon his head against the cinder block walls until his skull comes apart in my hands, seeping brain and shards of bone between my fingers. I have to pretend I want to be home. I say, I love you too. Since Mum is one of the most important people in New Nazareth, our family's apartment-style dormitory is a decent one. We're in one of the biggest residence halls, closest to the heart of campus, overlooking the courtyard nestled in the middle of our U-shaped building. I even get my own room. That's a blessing, because if this had been Mum and Dad's room too, I wouldn't be able to handle it. I keep seeing him over my shoulder. I keep screaming for him. This is repentance. Theo presses his face into the crook of my neck and stands there with me until Mum calls from the living room. It's time to go. She may not be the most accepting, Theo reminds me, but she does care about you. I nod like I believe him. We all love you, Theo says, and he holds out a hand for me to take. I accept, and my other hand touches the pocket of my dress, where I've hidden Nick's note. Sister Nelson plays the piano since Sister Shoemaker, the usual church pianist, sprained a tendon in her wrist while I was gone. Every note rises to the towering ceiling of Kincaid Chapel, twinkling like invisible stars. I wasn't expecting to have a panicked reaction to an instrumental version of When We All Get to Heaven, but here we are. Theo squeezes my hand as I fight to breathe, and Mum smiles as if she can make up for the gory mess of my body. For the whisper of the boy she's tried to erase from me. Kincaid Chapel is the centerpiece of New Nazareth, and it has been kept perfect even through the end of the world. The reception area is full of banners and murals, the sun beams through the glass walls, and there are so many people waiting for us that it feels like coming to the gates all over again. An apprentice reverend has left out a basin of water for us to wash our hands as we enter. Sister May, one of Mum's friends, whispers, "Blessed Seraph," as we pass. The whisper starts a ripple. Blessed Seraph. Blessed Seraph. And Mum beams in the perfection of it all. She's smiling so wide it shows every tooth, even the ones far back in her mouth, like her lips are being stretched unnaturally. After so long in the ALC, it's unsettling to see everyone unmasked. They're all barefaced, showing their emotions to the world with nothing to hide them. Their smiles don't look right anymore. Or maybe they've always been this wrong. "This is for you, Esther," Mum murmurs, resting a hand on the back of my neck. I want to grab it and break it. That or tear off the rest of my skin. We're greeted at the sanctuary by Brother Hutch. I stop in the middle of the room, accidentally jerking Theo's arm. Sister Nelson's playing has softened to something light and dainty, but every note still pounds in the back of my head. No, this isn't the Brother Hutch I watched die in the street. This is a relative, his younger brother. Reverend Mother Woodside, the younger living Brother Hutch says in greeting. Brother Chairborne, that's Theo. Oh, Sister Woodside, I'm so happy to see you've made it home. We prayed every day for your safe return. When I don't respond, Mum pinches the back of my neck, but Brother Hutch continues anyway. Please, I'm forgetting myself. Let me show you your seats. The sanctuary is far too big. Another belly swallow me up just like at Reformation. Reverend Brother Ward, one of Mum's closest friends in the clergy, stands at the pulpit, surrounded by curtains the colour of fresh blood. Everything else is white. The robes, the hands, the faces. It's wrong. I want to smear everything with dirt and make it right again. Brother Hutch takes us to the front row, where Sister Nelson's playing is so loud, I can't make out my own thoughts. Maybe it's better this way. I don't want to think about anything. I just have to make it until tomorrow. This will all end, and I can see my friends again. That's it. That's the plan. That's what Nick promised. Just until tomorrow. All of New Nazareth crams itself into the chapel. Even soldiers on duty lurk near the entrance, guns resting across their backs. Brother Hutch leads Sister Kipling to the seat next to Mum's, but the prophet refuses to make eye contact no matter how hard Mum tries. Sister Nelson moves on to a gentle rendition of There is a fountain filled with blood. Lose all their guilty stains, and sinners plunged beneath the flood lose all their guilty stains. Theo hums along. Now, Mum murmurs, leaning her head to me. Her gaze doesn't move from the pulpit. I hope you're prepared for what's coming tomorrow. I nod. Her expression sours. I say, Yes, Mum. Today is all about how happy we are to have you back, she says. But tomorrow is when we make things right. I hope you understand that. I remember my first absolution, the day we stepped foot in New Nazareth. My leg starts to shake. I have been out in the world of sin for too long. Theo went out in that world as a servant of God, but me? She knows I would take any opportunity to turn on my faith. It needs to be hammered back into me. I have to be cleansed again. I say, Yes, Mum. Good, Mum says. The last note of the song slowly fades out. The doors of the sanctuary close. The only light comes in through the tall, high windows and the lanterns set on the stage, the candles flickering on the pulpit. The lack of electricity makes Kincaid Chapel feel like twilight, even at the height of day. Theo sits up straighter and lifts his chin, just like we were all raised to do. Good morning, all, Reverend Brother Ward crows. What a wonderful, glorious day we've had. Oh, what a blessing. Answering calls ripple through the congregation. I tug at the skirt of my dress to keep it from sticking to my thighs. I have to stop myself from ripping the fabric. I need to feel it tear. I hate it. I hate it. I want to begin our worship service by offering a prayer to our Saviour, our Lord, because He has answered our prayers. Yes, someone cries. I want to bury into the floor and never come up. He has brought our blessed seraph back to us. Let us close our eyes and raise our hands. I squeeze my eyes shut as tight as I can get them and keep my hands clamped in my lap. Block out Mum, Reverend Brother Ward, Theo, and everything else. Let us glorify Him in thanks. Thank you, God, for what you have done for us. First, you sent your Son to save us, and now this daughter to lead us. We are honoured to continue fighting the battle you have ordained for us. With my eyes closed, I swear I could reach out and touch the red stream flowing through the culling fields. I can smell the bodies of the weak and the failures hanging from the trees. I can hear the rustling of feathers, scrape of teeth, the wet, heavy breathing of Seraph between Ward's cries. I don't feel God. I don't even feel the peace I used to be able to snatch from the jaws of monsters. Just the culling fields and the beast. We will continue to do your holy works, follow you in your infinite majesty, your goodness, your mercy towards us sinners, those who fight for you and even in those who have turned from you. In every way you are glorious and perfect. In Jesus' name, amen. Raise your eyes, faithful, and may we lay our gaze upon the one who will lead us in this struggle. My eyes snap open. Sister Woodside, blessed Seraph, if you would honour us. No. No, no, no. Mum turns her perfect smile on me. Theo shines as bright as the stars. Go on, he whispers. You can do it. Go, Mum says. One more day. One more day. My legs shaking, my body turning to rot underneath me. I stand and climb the stairs to the pulpit. Reverend Brother Ward clasps my hand in his. Thank you, Ward murmurs, bringing his face too close to mine. God has brought you back to us, sister. I want to thank you for your bravery, your courage, your sacrifice. You're doing more for this world than you know. I nod, unable to say a word, and he smiles because he thinks I'm being modest when in fact I am teetering between terrified and wanting to tear out his fucking throat. Reverend Brother Ward turns back to the congregation, one of my hands still held in his. When we first began our mission, there were almost 9 billion people on this earth. Can you believe it? Earth creaking under the weight of 9 billion souls. And as we watched that number climb higher, and we watched plague sweep over our people, and summers got hotter, and unrest tore societies apart, our leader, High Reverend Father Ian Clevenger, received a message from God. Yes, the chapel cries. For the earth must be liberated of us once again for the world to be saved, for our souls to be saved, so we can reach the kingdom of heaven. I stare across the congregation. So many people who believe every word of this, who believe the only way forward is slaughter, who want to wring every breath of life from the world and watch every person suffer, who prayed for the creation of me. Our way forward has been returned, Ward says. We will be washed in the blood. We will wash the world in the blood. We will cleanse the world for Christ's coming, and we will help the Lord bring his flock to deliverance. And you, Seraph, you, Sister Woodside, are the one who will lead us. You will lead the flood. You will lead the graces. You will lead God's people. These people have lived their lives for murder. Their singular goal is genocide in the name of salvation, and they will not rest until every human on earth is extinguished. We are nothing but vermin to them. I've watched attempts at reasoning be met with bullets and crucifixion, and now there is nothing else to be done but fight back. The only way to survive is to extinguish them first. Tomorrow. I just have to make it until tomorrow. Theo's father acknowledges him for exactly half a second after service ends, so Theo meekly returns to my mother to ask if he can stay with us. Of course, Theodore, she murmurs. The general disappointment into the crowd with his men. I'll make up the couch for you. Thank you, Reverend Mother. We return to the dormitory, dodging people asking for blessings all the way, and Mum sends Theo to wash up for dinner before sitting across from me in the living room. I'm taking up the couch, staring at the empty entertainment centre. There used to be a TV there, back when this was still a college dorm. Now there's a Bible open to a random verse below a framed photograph of Mum, Dad, and me. It's the one thing we were allowed to keep when we arrived. The two of them are beautiful. Mum in a seafoam green dress, Dad with his grungy band shirt and dress shoes. They're both so young, so untouched by everything. And then me, a newborn thing cradled in their arms. You cut your hair, Mum says. I grit my teeth. Dad did. I loved him as much as you did, Esther. The name sticks like a thorn, digging deeper and deeper. You had him killed. I know his passing pained you, Mum says with a hint of disgust. How dare you grieve what was always his to take? But you don't need to be cruel. He made a mistake that affected everyone, and what happened was God's will. Do you understand? I need to pretend I'm happy. I understand, I whisper. No matter what, I'm glad you're home. She comes over to press her lips to my temple. Tomorrow is just the beginning. I hope we can put all this behind us. Theo comes back, even though the flood is fresh and greener than anything I've had at the ALC. Potatoes, kale, and hard bread, all grown and made within New Nazareth. The idea of dinner makes my stomach turn. I shut myself in my room and press my temples against the wall until Theo slips in. Hey, he murmurs, bringing me out of the groggy mess of my head. I've tried to pray, but nothing's worked. All I can think of is the congregation watching me with awe, wondering when I'll bring hellfire raining down on the heretics. How are you doing? Fine. I want to rip out his stomach. It's right there. his guts under a thin layer of cloth and skin. It'd be so simple. Sink my teeth in and take out his intestines like too many worms stuffed into his abdominal cavity. Keep the door open or Mum will flip her shit. She just left, actually. Said she needed to prepare for tomorrow and I should keep an eye on you. He sits down in the bed beside me. Told her I could do that, no problem. She hates leaving us alone together. Well, we are engaged. Believe me, I haven't forgotten. Must make it a little more palatable. Let's get you out of that dress. I hate the way he says it, but I hate the dress more, so I let him untie the back. He pulls it down and presses a kiss to the side of my neck, right where the rot has started to reach. And I let him because I have to. I let him skim his fingers over me because I have to. I let him push my hair back from my face and hold me at the waist because I have to. He lied to me. Fangs, feathers, and flesh shimmer in the edge of my vision. The red stream blooms on my tongue. But he tries to pull off my underwear, and I make an inhuman noise, my jaw practically unhinging, my too long tongue curling, saliva dripping over my teeth. No, he does not get to touch me. He does not get to touch me like that. Theo stumbles back, eyes wide, hitting the bed. Shit, he whispers. I'm sorry, I thought... Don't touch me, I snarl. Don't you fucking think you can. Is everything okay? Just give me some goddamn robes. Theo hands me a set of plain civilian clothes and stands a few paces away while I wrap my arms around myself and try to steady my breathing. Breathe, Benji. Keep it together. I don't see you as a girl, he says, like that's the problem. Like a cis person would ever get it. Stop. Shut up. I'm sorry. He's not. Late that night, after Theo is left for the couch and I'm alone, I slip out of bed to the window. I pull Nick's note from my pocket of my dress and smooth it out, pressing down the folded corners, keeping the writing face down. Beside it goes the trans-bead lizard, the one he gave me, the one I hid in my pillowcase when we arrived. I turn over the note. There, in his scratchy handwriting, are 2 words. Squad Cavalry. Nick was in Squad Cavalry. I wander out to the living room where Theo is sprawled out on the couch. His lips are parted gently in sleep. Nick should have killed him. Chapter 29. Lord, allow them injuries so that they may turn to you. May they cry out to you. Let their blood mingle with yours so that they may be washed of their sins as they pass to you. Let them be judged. Give them what they deserve. Angel prayer for the unsaved. The river is monstrous this early in the morning. It's not as bad as the culling grounds on the other side of campus. In fact, it's beautiful. The rising sun gleaming gold on the water, the large oaks and maples creeping across the rocky bank. But something can be beautiful and monstrous at the same time. Like Mum, like the Graces, there are teeth between the twigs only I can see, beside a blackbird awaiting for an execution. More holes in my head, more of myself eaten away by the virus. I stand on the riverbank and steady my breathing to keep from collapse into the stones. I pray, but nothing comes up except Revelation 13:1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. Hide from the wrath of the Lamb. Today is the day New Nazareth ends. The ritual is a private one, meant only for those close to the ones seeking absolution. Mum and Theo stand by me while Sister Kipling lingers under the shade of a towering oak. Reverend Brother Ward flips through his Bible, clustered with 2 other members of the clergy, Brother Tipton and Brother Abrams. I want to hold Theo's hand, and I hate myself for it. My bare feet are already in the water, the current eddying around my ankles, and I'm watching where the New Nazareth wall meets the river. Past the wall lies Acheson's downtown district, with abandoned family shops, boutiques, and all sorts of little things. If you keep following the river downstream, eventually you'll find the only bridge leading out of the city. From there, Dad's body, probably festered and eaten away by now. Right across the street is the most important, because Nick promised he'd be there, waiting, watching from the roof of a shop nearby. The watch promised. That's the only thing that matters. The plan is simple. I whisper to the Graces, I rip New Nazareth apart with their claws, and the watch keeps me safe until they can pull me out into Acheson. Back to them, back to Nick. But not yet. I told Nick I would go along with the ritual until the very end, that we'd have to wait until I was pulled from the water because I'd be too scared to concentrate on calling the Graces until my absolution was over. Nick agreed. He'd been through it before. He understood. I also told him to wait, though I didn't say it, because I want to do this. I throw up into the river. Vomiting what's left of my organs is just a hassle now. Oh, baby, Mum murmurs, brushing my hair back from my forehead as I spit strings of black and red into the water. It's all right, it won't take long. Theo helps me upright, and Reverend Brother Ward reaches out a hand for me to follow him deeper into the river. He's traded his Bible for a knife. Sister Woodside, he says, come forward. I don't have to pretend I want this. I wade further into the water until it hits my shins, my knees, my thighs. It's cold. The current pulls at me, and I brace a foot in the smooth rocks to keep my balance. My dress hovers around my legs, pulled by the water as if trying to sweep me away from here. This is not baptism, Reverend Brother Ward says, but you have already been baptized, and the heretical world beyond our walls cannot change that. The water has a dark tinge, brown and blue and grey and green and red. There shouldn't be blood yet, but there it is, appearing for just a moment every time the water whispers the right way. This is absolution. You have left your original sin in the watery grave, but now these new sins must follow. I am a man, and I fought for it, and nobody can take that from me. If these sons of bitches want to get their hands on me, I will make them suffer for it. And I will be good. I will be good. I will be good. Seraph is a monster of fangs, feathers, and flesh. I have believed liars and brought suffering upon my people. I will absolve what I have done wrong in this river. I will wash away my past as an angel, and the future they plan for me, and then I will bring this cult down with all the fury of a wrathful God. I won't be okay, but I will be better. Reverend Brother Ward holds up the knife. These sins must be purged from you. Mum nods, hair twisting in the wind. Theo sees me watching him and smiles. Sister Kipling stares out across the riverbank silent, her hands clasped as if trying to tear out her own fingers. Behind them all, Kincaid Chapel stands sentry, and New Nazareth spreads out like a feast. Is Nick watching me now, the way I'm watching them? My heart, or what's left of it, thrums pitifully in my chest. My knees threaten to give out. Please let him be. I can't spend any longer here. That's when I see it. Above the wall, a bit of light winking from a roof. And again, the glimmer of a scope. Nick is there. The watch. Oh, God. Are you ready to be purged, Sister Woodside? I say, yes. The first time this happened to me, I was 11. I'd been swept away from my home, from everything I had ever known, and dragged through the New Nazareth gate. Mum had been given absolution by the angels long before we arrived, so I was forced to watch as a reverend did it to Dad. I don't know how he stayed quiet, but I do know that when Mum tried to bring me into the river after him, I started to scream. I submit willingly now. I undo the dress's button at my neck, and it comes apart in my hands, white cloth fluttering down to my waist. The early morning air is crisp against my bare spine. I hold the dress up at my chest to keep from being exposed. I will be good. I will be good. I will be good, and I will feel far worse things than this. First cuts are on my back. The blade is sharp enough that it doesn't hurt when it slices through my skin. Not at first. The pain waits for me to take a breath. That's when the wound split further and hot blood rushes down my sides, right where my wings would go if I were a soldier. It pulls in the fabric of my dress, wet and hot and dragging me down. Ward is talking. I barely hear it. The next are at my hairline, the blade digging into the tender flesh of my forehead and scalp. I squeeze my eyes shut as it drips over my brows and down the bridge of my nose. I'm breathing hard, biting down on my tongue to keep from making noise because I have felt worse and I will feel worse. The point is not the pain, it is the blood. Symbolic flagellation, symbolic crown of thorns, and now all I need is to wash the blood in the river and it will be all over. Reverend Brother Ward looks to Mum, as if asking her a question. What kind of answer does he need? He's done hundreds of these. Please, just get it over with. Let this be over with. I can't breathe. I'm shaking. Let this end. Mum says, Seraph will heal her. Do it. Theo says, wait, what's happening? And Ward grabs me by the left wrist and plunges the blade through my palm. It doesn't hit all at once. At first, it's a crushing weight slamming down on my hand, like the world has been dropped onto it. Then something wedging all the little bones apart, and then the pain of it finally snaps, and I scream. The sinful blood has been let, Reverend Brother Ward cries, pulling out the blade still shiny with my blood and handing it off to Brother Tipton. This wasn't supposed to happen. What is happening? What the fuck is happening? You have felt half the pain of Jesus just as you, blessed Seraph, will follow in his footsteps and continue our journey toward God. I stare at the black hole in my hand, just like the black hole in Dad's head, streaming rot-tinged blood into the river. I think I'm screaming, but I'm not sure because I can't hear a thing besides the howling of the river, the howling of the monster between the trees, and the howling of Reverend Brother Ward. Let the water wash away your sins, and let yourself be cleansed by the blood of the Lamb. Ward grabs me by the shoulders and plunges me into the river. The beast between the trees, monsters of fangs, feathers, and flesh, Seraph. It chooses that moment to explode. The agony is instant. White hot burning from my hand to every inch of me, climbing up my spine to the spot behind my eyes. My vision cuts out under the murky water of the river, and my hearing comes rushing back all at once, shrieking. My body is being dragged to shore, and every bone creaks like branches in a storm. I fall to the river rocks and vomit up what looks like an organ, almost whole, a bundle of wet black flesh that washes away with the tide. Sister Kipling grabs one of my arms, and Theo grabs the other, and I scream and pull away, but Sister Kipling grabs my hair and holds me to her chest. She's barking orders. Tell the lab, get the fuck out of here. Then Theo is on the ground, clutching a broken hand, and I think for a blurry moment, did I do that? Just as his index finger snaps on its own. Brother Abrams clutches his skull before it splits down the side, revealing a gaping maw of teeth. Reverend Brother Ward stares at the dark liquid trickling from his mouth, dripping off his chin. Something moves underneath the bloody skin of my back before erupting, the raw new flesh ripping me to shreds, and then a second, then a third, unfurling and tearing me apart. I realize, as Mum and Sister Kipling drag me into the grass, that they are wings. And then, in the last second, even through the pain, another. I did not give the order. I did not whisper for the graces to turn on their masters. My word will not spread from grace to grace like a plague, dragging this horrible place down into the flames. Nick will not be coming for me. Chapter 30. Chapter 30. We have made so many mistakes. Am I the only one unable to sleep at night? Sister Kipling's notes. There are no bodies on the culling field today, so it can't be real. There's no buzzing of flies, no metronome dripping of blood. The crow hops from branch to branch in search of food that isn't there. The water flowing down the stream is fresh too, so clear I could drink from it. The beast isn't here. No fangs, no feathers, no flesh. I touch my face, and my fingers meet smooth cheek instead of exposed teeth. There are no open sores on my legs, just plain white skin. I'm not in my dress either. I'm in the clothes I'm supposed to be in. Baggy shorts and a black jacket, sneakers instead of standing barefoot in the water. New Nazareth is silent. Not a body exists except my own. It isn't right. I need to find the beast. I leave the stream and go to the student union, but find nothing on the roof. All I'm offered is a beautiful view of the campus, with a bonfire of red and orange leaves lighting up in the gold of late afternoon. Why am I still this? Why am I still no different than I was weeks ago? There's no tongue weighing down my jaw, no open wounds to feel the wind. I'm just a boy standing on a roof alone. But I shouldn't think about it too hard. When I'm here, I'm not out there. Going out there means having to deal with the pain, and nothing hurts right now. And there shall be no night there, and they will need no candle, neither light of the sun, for the Lord God giveth them light. For the world will burn under the weight of it. I walk across campus until I make it to the old health center, Sister Kipling's building. The laboratory, the office, the examination room. I must aside the glass doors and follow the basement stairwell all the way down to a deep, oppressive hall. At the end is the room I am being kept in. A narrow sliver of glass cuts through the door, offering the only glimpse inside that isn't hidden tight behind the laboratory walls. I press my face to it. It's cold. It feels more real than anything ever has here. A bulging white eye surrounded by rot stares back. That's me. Surely I come quickly, amen. Even so, come, Lord Jesus. Even through hellfire, talking. How much longer? Mum. My voice is choked, I think. Choked? Over me? It looks... Sister Kipling. You don't have to watch if you don't want to, Reverend Mother. I do, answer me. Shuffling. At least a day. A day. A day. A day? The pain is in an ebb now. It comes and goes like the tide in and out. Big changes, then little ones to fill in the gaps. I stretch my hands, and shattered bone claws carve tracks in the floor of the isolation room. I want to stand, throw myself against the walls, tear the door off its hinges. But I am exhausted, and my wings weigh me down. Fleshy, newborn things, heavy and useless. My neck and chest are sticky with black bile. My dress is stained and torn, and my unholy mess of body has escaped it. It destroys the perfect whiteness of this room. Good. Across from me, there's a two-way mirror halfway up one wall and a small hole for people to speak through. That's why I can hear voices murmuring. Mum says, "How's Brother Claiborne?" "He's fine, Sister Kipling. The effects are minor. Reverend Brother Ward and Brother Abrams are under observation now. Tipton wasn't so lucky." Poor souls. It happened so quickly. That agony. Was that me? Did I do that? It's fascinating, really, how even latent microdoses of the virus react in Sarah's presence. A side effect of the blooming, causing a mirror effect in nearby affected tissue. It should calm in time, once the virus settles, but as long as it happens quickly. Please, God, if you prove your existence by making this stop, I swear I'll follow you for the rest of my days. Then, of course, proof that Mum has dug faith into me like thorns under my skin, like a tattoo I can't carve off, like trauma. Even when my chest splits open the next second, I think, but he still might be real, and I'm just too broken to feel it. It's my fault. Another ebb, another pulling back, another breath. My hair falls out in clumps. Blood and flood rot have mixed together on the floor into something wine-coloured. My body is too big for itself. My limbs are long, like they've been stretched on a rack, bending in places they shouldn't, and packed with muscle and tumours. Painful barbs jut from my shoulders and the curve of my wings, right where the little spikes grow into feathers. I press my face against the towels and gasp for air. I wonder how Nick, Erin, the watch, and the rest of the ALC are doing. There's an emptiness in my chest where something used to be, and I can't tell if it was another organ I can't keep track of anymore, or the sinking feeling of failure. Nick and the watch were right there, waiting for me, and my body tore itself to pieces before I could raise my hand and turn the graces against the angels. That was my one job, and it fell apart because I waited for Reverend Brother Ward to make me bleed. I failed, and now Nick and the rest probably have no idea what to do. Neither do I. The door opens. Sister Kipling comes in. She's the opposite of saintly, with her hair unwashed and glasses sitting crookedly on her nose. Though there's a look in her eyes like she's about to be martyred any second, watching for arrows or burning stakes. She created the flood. She built Seraph. She killed so many people to make me. She turned me into a monster, and she can't look me in the eyes. The angels have made her a living saint, and she doesn't even have the decency to take advantage of it. They'll let her do anything, and she spends that leniency staring into the middle distance, hardly ever blinking, her hands racked with tremors. I've never once seen her pray. I've only ever heard her talk in whispers, except for the terrible moment on the riverbank. She's going grey. Her glasses are held together with tape at the temples. The crosses on the back of her hands look like they were done weeks ago, not years, almost painful in how swollen and raised they are. She says, I wanted to talk to you, without your mother. Sister Kipling sits at my head, as if she's kneeling at the altar of my body. I have no sense of myself anymore, besides the fact that I am not what I once was. I'm too tired to see my body from the eyes of others, in the terrible way transcendence demands, always existing both inside and outside myself, judging as an observer. Now I am a pile of flesh on the floor. Everything hurts, and I do not give a shit. She says, I just wanted to say I'm sorry. Grabs one of the budding feathers sprouting at my shoulder and tears it from me. Pain rips through the delicate dying skin and I shriek, moving faster than I have in hours, and slam into her tiny body and drive her into the floor. I'm hunched over her, towering over her, limp wings sagging and my claws digging into the floor inches from her skull. My arms tremble under my own weight. I'm so much bigger than her. Her neck would tear so easily. A drop of saliva falls onto her collarbone, and she chokes down a whimper. I should kill her for what she did. She deserves it. Dad told me to make them suffer. Please, she says. Please, what? Cold pit settles in my stomach, a horrible contrast to the fire still searing through me. I step back, my wings dragging on the floor. She wants me to kill her. No. She reaches for me, snatching from my jaw the way soldiers hold their graces. I rear back and she grabs me by my half-broken arm. Sarah, please, please. This is all her fault. Everything she's ever done to me, to the people who came before me, every single person who suffered as the flood broke them apart. I should tear her to shreds, drag her by the leg and bite it off and crush her under my claws. I know you hate me, she says, clinging to me. You have every right. I understand. If it's any consolation, we're all going to hell for what we've done. Our living saint is saying the angels are going to hell. Our living saint is a heretic. No, it doesn't work like that. She can't be. She created the flood. She built Sarah from the ground up. She destroyed me. She's destroyed everything. And now she's trying to repent her repentance. Now she feels bad. Now? She's so close. Her face is so close to my fangs. I should just end her. End whatever bullshit she's trying to pull. End this pathetic attempt to trick me. But I can't. Even though my jaw is dislocated and my insides bubble up when I speak, I manage. Why? Why? Her lip trembles. Her hands find my face and she holds me close like she's trying to cradle me, keep me away from the stained white walls and bloody floor. We have made so many mistakes. I never should have wanted this. Her eyes are glassy, with terror, remorse, martyrdom. It scares me. If I can't take it all back, I can do this. Please, let me do one thing right. Mistakes. Let her do one thing right. But why now? Why is she coming to me now when I am this? Not when she could have stopped this, when she could have never stepped into the angel's arms in the first place? Why didn't she stop when I begged her to? Is it now that she can look me in the eye and see what she's done? I speak because I have to. Mistakes. Sister Kipling says, yes, a mistake. I could tell Mum, I say, have you killed? If you want me dead, you can do that now. I snap my teeth at her. She squeezes her eyes shut and does not move. She said, Lord, just make it quick. So I sit back and watch the heaving of her chest, the quiver of her lips, her fingers clutching her stained white coat. A heretic. It's too good to be true. Nobody who has caused this much suffering deserves an easy ending. She doesn't get to do one thing right to take even the smallest weight off her soul. God will judge whether she has truly changed her ways in her heart, but I don't have the luxury of being sure. I'm fucked no matter what I do, so I might as well try. She can let Nick know I'm still alive. Chapter 31. O sacred head now wounded, with grief and shame weighed down, now scornfully surrounded with thorns, thine only crown. Angel hymn. Pain eases eventually, like most pain does, and God has nothing to do with it. It's less the ebbing of a tide and more watching a tsunami wash back out to sea, taking everything with it except bones and exhaustion. Where you're almost asleep, but you barely have the presence of mind to close your eyes. The door opens again. I pick my head up the best I can, expecting to see Sister Kipling, but standing in the threshold instead are Theo and Mum. Their eyes are wide like they've never seen a Grace before, like they've never seen a monster or blood. Oh God, Theo whispers. Brother Claiborne, Mum chides. Don't take his name in vain. Her voice isn't as sharp as it could be. It wavers, unsteady and small. Good. Let her see what she's made of me. I'm not, Theo says. God, look at you. He starts into the room and Mum tries to follow, but Sister Kipling appears in the narrow space between them, murmuring that she should give us some space. Mum jerks back. That's my child, she says. But Theo takes the opportunity and shuts the door behind him. He smiles. Hey. He's carrying a pail of water and a towel over his shoulder, and there are two things about him that are different. One, his left hand is bandaged. Creeping out from under the gauze are cracks like mine, the edges of lumps and broken bones. And two, there is a little spark inside him, something that calls to me, one of my neurons wormed inside his brain, milling around like ants, firefly sparks, feathers. Sorry, Theo says. I know I'm staring. Wow. Look at you. He takes the towel off his shoulder and kneels beside me. How are you feeling? I take my first words slowly, try to make my mouth and throat do what I've always done, just form the words and put them out there. Instead, I choke. My body worked when Kipling was here, so why won't it now? It doesn't come naturally anymore. I have to force it, the way you have to blink manually when you're reminded of your eyelids. And when I do make a single word, it sounds like something else, an animal putting together sounds in a rough mockery of human speech. Better, I say, and it is awful. Theo dunks the towel in the water, picking up my head so he can clean the black sludge off my neck and chin. His fingers trace my jaw. Good. Sister Kipling says it's all over. I swear it looked like one of Dad's old zombie movies. Did you know he used to be a horror buff before all this? I think it's why he likes the Graces so much. He squeezes the towel, and gross water splatters onto the floor. I think I'm starting to see the appeal. He stretches out one of my wings. He has to step back a few paces to get its full length, huffing a little under its weight. Once it's laid along the floor, he starts working through the feathers, smoothing them out, picking at pieces of skin trapped between them, preening. The wings are white like everything else in the room. The color doesn't make up for how ugly they are, like the rest of the white things I've ever known. There is nothing smooth or beautiful about them, the way angels' wings are in paintings. They're fleshy and twisted, the kind of wings a human body would make if forced to build them out of materials it wasn't meant to have. 6 of them, giant and sickly and useless, only good for being tucked up against my sides. And for being a symbol. From Mum's letter to the faithful. For when Seraph spreads its 6 wings and screams, it strikes the fear of God into the hearts of all who witness. You look tired, he says. I am. But if it means anything, I'm proud of you. He leans down to my face. He's so small now. I used to be a few inches shorter than him, but even down here, curled up on the floor, I am menacingly large. He kisses my forehead anyway. And your mum is too, he says, even if she's not good at showing it. I rasp, having to force every word. I don't want to hear it from her. Theo sighs. I know. I'm sorry. I reach for his bandaged hand, my claws enveloping his entirely. He undoes the strips of gauze for me, letting them dangle to the floor. It's still recognizable as a hand. 5 fingers, a palm, a wrist. But it looks like it was run through a wood chipper and sewn back together. Pieces of bones jut out, some breaking the skin, some just pressing up against it like they're straining to escape, with muscle and discolored flesh holding it together. I did that? Me? The spark inside him burns, an ember of Sarah's fire inside us both. So many little fires, scattered past these walls, past everything. The flood should have split his skull the way it did that brother, the way it did that little girl. It should have cracked him open too. Seraph's growing pains rippling outwards with uncontrollable roar. Grief is easier to fake when you're not allowed to show it in the first place. I'd be glad to be rid of him. Not yet. Not yet, I keep saying. Not yet, not yet. I get one arm under me, the other, my feet. Theo steps back, holding out a hand as if he could steady me. I waver on all fours for a moment, breathing hard. This is where my body is meant to be. Graces often stay on all fours to steady themselves, and my proportions have shifted enough that this feels natural. But it isn't enough. I stand. My whole height is immense. I loom over Theo, a snarled tree of flesh and bone, my wings blocking the light and shrouding us both in shadow. Theo stares up at me, eyes wide and glittering with awe. The bucket hits the ground. Water spills across the floor. God, he whispers. God. In the two-way mirror behind him stands the creature that lurked among the trees. The creature that slammed me through the skylight at the student union. The creature that peered at me through the window of this very room. A long tail made of sinew and spines curls at my feet. My face is unrecognizable. My eyes clouded white and the skin pulled tight against the skull. The only thing saying it's still me is the open wound mouth full of fangs, each tooth a finger long. I am a charred corpse wreathed in wings, nothing but armor, sharp edges, and feathers. Hell has followed us onto Earth, and I am the monster that has brought it forth. See? Theo puts a hand on my stomach. You're beautiful. The rest of the week is a blur of exhaustion, tests, and wonder if I can have a panic attack in a body like this. White walls, Sister Kipling's office, exam rooms, over and over. The health center is on lockdown. Soldiers plaster massive sheets over the glass walls of the first floor. I've been cut off from the outside world, and the outside world has been cut off from me. Every time the sheets flutter and I can see outside, I want to slam myself against the glass. Where is Nick? Is he okay? I don't want to be alone here. I want them to be okay. Throughout the tests, Sister Kipling does not say a word to me. She takes vitals, checks her notes, and won't even look at me. Meet me alone, I say to her. Her eyes widen and she hurries off. Theo barely leaves my side, and Mum is almost as clingy. The General comes around a few times, and Theo's excitement wavers when the man wanders too close. They have the same facial features, except time has turned the General's cruel. The only solace Theo finds is in me and in the lab techs he follows around like a duckling. He hangs on their every word. They share notes on the intricacies of my power, how I can bend graces to my will, coax to life even the smallest viral load, and shatter a death squad soldier or member of the clergy in an instant if I just put my mind to it. What do you mean? Theo asks, leaning over the table as I watch. If you kissed the grace at Reformation, the tech explains, you've taken in enough of the flood to make you sick, right? That's flood our seraph can control. That's flood our seraph can bring to life. The tech looks over at me with so much love, It makes my stomach, or what's left of it, turn. We truly have been blessed. His voice lowers. Now, if only we could get the prophet to see that. Theo wrinkles his nose. Shush. I want to bring New Nazareth down. But there are so many what-ifs. What if someone who isn't affected turns on me? What if my power isn't enough to incapacitate someone? What if I can't make it out in time? What if Sister Kipling's confession was just a ploy to get me to show how my unfaithfulness, even after my absolution? To show my truth as the worst kind of sinner? I still need Nick. Even God's perfect weapon is powerless without people backing it. Just because a soldier would be crucified for putting me down doesn't mean they couldn't still do it. At one point, Sister Kipling is taking a vitals test. The tech takes Theo into the lab proper to look at some of the processes, even leaning down to whisper conspiratorially in Theo's ear. Theo comes back beaming. If the world was better, I think I'd have been a biologist, he says, eyes wide and somewhere far away from us. He is sinking his hands into the flood again, chasing after his mother's death, chasing after his own. His eyes slide to Sister Kipling, a smile creeping over his face. It's beautiful, isn't it, sister? Their fingers slip off her instrument and it hits the ground. Then it's the general's turn. His tests are harder. He brings a small grace into the lab, and I grab the flood inside them and build them into something else, turning crumpled masses of flesh into terrifying things with teeth and claws. He says that the heretics in Acheson won't have long. He'll start with the city and slowly, methodically, perfectly expand outward, washing the world clean as we go. And the sooner we finish these tests, the sooner my body settles, the sooner we can begin. You understand what's being asked of you, the general says, don't you? Are you ready? I do, and I hate it. I don't want to think too hard about what I'm doing, turning scared little creatures into war machines. So I think about what happened with Nick in the rescue mission, or when the ALC burned. The way the grace flowed to me, worked with me, a missing limb I'd been reunited with. There's none of that here. There is no love, just breaking and building. It's what I was made to do, but not what I'm supposed to do. As soon as the general turns his back, I pull the grace into my arms and let them curl around me. Even as much as I've changed them, they're still so bright. They were a person once. I want to hold them here forever. They're purring. Jesus Christ, they're purring. I swear if I could cry, I'd be sobbing. We are the same. Do they know? Can they tell? That's not part of the test, the general snaps, looking back toward me. I snarl. You'll mess up the results. Get another one. What would happen if I split the general in half too? If I took that bit of the flood in his bones and tore him to pieces? My brain recoils from the thought. If they could string up their own for speaking out of turn, if they could unleash a virus like the flood, then they could do all kinds of things to me. Maybe they'd decide it would be better for me to be broken like the graces they'd given to the death squads. I can handle this, brother, Sister Kipling says. Aren't you late for a meeting? The general grunts. I see where Theo gets that look in his eyes from. Don't fuck it up. We're alone. Not even the lab techs are here. Not even Theo. It's the most alone I've been since the isolation room. Sister Kipling's big eyes waver behind her glasses, her throat bobbing as if she's trying to draw my eyes to the delicate veins. She says, so softly, what? I start with, I'm not going to kill you. She looks away. If you really feel so terrible, make yourself useful. Do something for me. Yes, she says, of course. I reach behind my wing, where an ugly pocket is formed in my skin, and I pull out the trans flag bead lizard. I gently clamp it between the teeth of the little grace and draw them a mental map of Acheson. Through the downtown district, through the government district, all the way to the ALC and the bank. I show them Nick's face, Erin's, everyone's. They stare at me with wide, beautiful eyes. The clergy will want to bless me before my first march on the city. They will want to make a show. They have always made a show. They will make a worship out of it, a consecration. I will make sure Nick does not miss it. I hope. The day before the general sends me out into Acheson, I tell her, "You get this past the gates and into the city. Am I clear?" "I don't know when that is." "Then find out." I let the words snarl in my throat. She cringes. "These people would kill for you. Put your saintliness to some goddamn use." "Of course," she says, "of course." "Please let Nick know what it means. Please let the watch come back for me. Please don't leave me alone, because I don't know if I can stop this myself." Days pass. I don't know how long it's been since my spine snapped in the river, but I do know that the days are getting longer, peaking hotter. It's the middle of the night, and I sit on the roof of the health center, wings spread out to soak up the moonlight. Graces walk the perimeter with their handlers. The river glimmers. Lanterns dot the landscape like fireflies. I squint as if I can see past the walls into the city to my friends. I can't stand the waiting. I can't take it. I press my head to the gravel roof and pray for the first time in a long time for this to work. The what-ifs come again. What if the Graces kill before they can deliver their message? What if Nick doesn't understand it? What if they make it too late? What if they never make it at all? Even in the warmth of a February. Is it still February? Maybe it's March. Evening, I'm shivering. I just want this to be over with. I want to see Nick again. I'm so damn tired. The door to the health center swings open below me. Sister Kipling steps out into the night, a heavy bag weighing down her shoulders. A guard at the door dips his head in reverence as she heads past the pond, through the field, to the road leading through campus. I pick myself up a bit, tucking my wings against my sides, and peer out over the edge. She keeps walking until she becomes nothing more than a little dot in the distance. She's heading for the gates. She's keeping her promise. She is a heretic. It must be tomorrow. I can't breathe until I hear the distant hum of the gate. Tomorrow. It's tomorrow. Please, Nick, please. I know Theo is expecting me. I spent the past several nights in a renovated meeting room where Theo sleeps on a mattress on the floor beside me, but I can't bring myself to move. I feel every single spark in the world, every single grace. I am there with every one of them. When I was born, Mum named me after a woman in the Old Testament. She was a Jewish queen and one of the most beautiful women her kingdom had ever known. When her cousin offended the king's advisor, the advisor gained permission from the king to slaughter her people. But Esther followed the plan and instead allowed her people to slaughter their enemies in turn. Mum thought she could save me, Esther, and not even name me Esther and not even consider the woman who saved those she loved. Or is the angels' persecution complex so deep-rooted they think they are the ones who need saving? Who am I kidding? I know damn well it is. If Mum wanted to name me Esther, then fine. I'll live up to the name and lay it in an honoured resting place at their graves. I won't be blessed Seraph. I will not be theirs. And there is nothing they can do about it. I've taken what they've given me and turned it into a mockery of them. I will turn it into what destroys them. If they want me to be a monster one step closer to God, that's fine. In what world was their God ever a benevolent one? Chapter 32. Consecration is the act of making or declaring something to be sacred. Through the flood, we consecrate the flesh as well as the spirit, sanctify the blood, and make holy the bones. Reverend Mother Woodside's notes. Theo is taking a hell of a long time getting ready the next morning. Mum sits at the studying tables on the ground floor of the health center, legs crossed primly. Squad devotion stands around, waiting for orders, and I'm eyeing the front door to figure out how I'm supposed to hold my wings to get through. Sister Kipling, huddled across the hall, hasn't looked at me since she met my eyes this morning and mouthed, "It's done." That's fine. That's all I need from her. The Grace is out in Acheson, the bead lizard between their teeth. My tail thumps excitedly against the floor. Anxiety thrums through my new body the way my heartbeat used to, replacing it as the thing keeping me upright and moving. Mum says, "Sweetie?" She never calls me that. I pick up my head to look at her. No matter what, she murmurs. I cannot express how happy I am you're home. Her eyes are so full of love. I don't recognize it. She's never looked at me like this, especially not since she found out I was a boy. We really are lucky to have you. I am so proud. This is what it took for her to be proud of me. The back door crashes open with an urgency that makes my wings fluff up like a startled cat. The soldiers have been using the back door to get in and out without drawing attention, but I thought they were all here. All of them except Theo and the General. The General stands aside, sneer lines permanently etched into his face, but Theo sprints across the lobby of the health center, grabs him by the neck, swings himself around and laughs. Good morning, he says. I wiggle out from his arms, rising up a bit on my hind legs so his grip loosens. I'm too stressed to play the good boyfriend. I don't want him to touch me. It's a beautiful day, isn't it? God bless. His head is shaved. His robe has all room for armor underneath, and a sash around his waist holds space for a knife and a pistol. Notice anything different? He giggles. He's been reinstated as a death squad soldier. I hate him. I hate him so much. Nick should have shot him when he had the chance. He should have killed him. He should have put his brains in the ground like the angels did to Dad. This is for you, Theo says. Because of you. He pulls my face down to kiss what's left of my nose. I can't wait to show New Nazareth how much I love you. I love you should never be so terrifying. Please let the watch be out there, please. Are we ready? Mum says, sweeping to her feet in a rush of silver. Ready as I'll ever be, Theo replies. We fall into formation. Mum, Sister Kipling, and squad devotional. Theo's hand rests on my arm as I step onto the lawn before the road to the gate, squinting against the brilliant light of late morning. How? I ask Theo, because it's the only word I can get out of me that isn't a flurry of fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're home, he says. I need to be by your side. This is what he's always wanted. I came back and he gets his dream handed to him in a bundle of white fabric. They would look better stained with blood, the contents of his skull dripping down those perfect robes. Keep it together. We turn a corner, coming from the trees lining the path to face the gate. 3 crosses draped in cloth have been erected beside the entrance. The entire population of New Nazareth has turned out to see me off, gathered desperately around Reverend Brother Ward's hastily constructed pulpit. The hush is instant. The cloth of the crosses, red like Jesus' blood, flutters in the breeze coming off the river. The gate is cracked open the smallest bit, waiting for Mum's word, casting a shadow over the crosses complete with the silhouettes of barbed wire coils and wall guards. It smells like the river, rotting bodies and the sweat of hundreds of angels pressed together in devotion. I am a broken record begging, please. And there are graces. New Nazareth keeps at least a dozen beasts for war, and now they're here for me, shivering beside their handlers. Their emotions come in like the tide, hunger, anger, pain, the things everyone would feel really if put in their places. Look at the terrible, beautiful things the flood has created. 3 bodies lashed together, teetering on jagged stilts as ribs break through their skin, a grotesquely stretched thing with tentacles crawling out of their chest and throat. A tank made from dozens of the dead, eye sockets and wailing mouths opening like wounds. Old flesh, yellow fat, pink organs, torn edges, and broken bones. I whisper to them, I am here, and they all swivel to look. They look, just like I made the Grace in the ambush look. I whisper, I'm here. I whisper, I'm sorry. Theo skims his fingers down my shoulder as we walk. It's okay, he says, not much longer, and then we can begin. He laughs. Our glorious work, our God-given work, your work. He sounds like every other angel, holy words tumbling over his lips, rot coming up sick. How could I ever have thought he was different? We reach the crowd. We're swallowed whole. Squad devotion is the only thing between us and the faithful. Reverend Brother Ward cries, Our blessed seraph! And a cheer rises up like fire from hell. The long streams of cloth on the crosses snap in the breeze. I take my place in front of them, shaking myself out, spreading my wings. Theo laughs in awe. Sister Kipling keeps her head down. Reverend Brother Ward's jaw drops, and Mum just smiles as if the light of God is radiating from her. I stare out over a crowd of murderers, of slaughterers, of people who think the only way to heaven is fucking genocide. I want to burn this world to the ground, and I peek at the buildings beyond the wall for the telltale glint of a scope. Friends, Reverend Brother Ward calls, we are gathered here today in the presence of God to celebrate not only the blessings of our warrior, but also in the celebration of love and life. That doesn't make any sense. Theo watches Brother Ward with an expression of a little boy who's been told to wait patiently for his present, but can hardly keep himself still. Mum claps her hands, perfectly placid and calm. I'm missing something. Something important. Keep it together, Benji. Breathe. Everything is fine. Nick got the message. He understands it. He's going to make it in time. Everything will work out. If it doesn't, I just have to tear this all down myself. I don't think I can. And suddenly I know I can't, because Reverend Brother Ward says, we are here to celebrate the joining together of two people, two families in holy matrimony. What the fuck? God brought Theodore and Esther together, Ward says. They arrived just days after Father Clevenger gave the order to bring our angels home, and God has raised them together into the wonderful young people you see before you today. No, this isn't happening. They are warriors and martyrs and have made so many sacrifices for us. We should consider ourselves lucky to witness this here today. A terrible feeling sinks into what's left of my guts. It takes me a moment to recognize it, but it's dysphoria, worse than I've ever felt. Worse than when I was wearing that dress, worse than when Mum said my dead name. At least then I knew what people thought when they looked at me. Now my body is something else, something I don't understand, something I can't quite grasp. Do I have any part of me that still makes me a female? They have to be able to find it in something so they can assure themselves there's a woman under all this. Like there's a woman trapped in this flesh instead of a boy being this flesh. Let's bow our heads, Reverend Brother Ward says, and pray together. Did Mum know? Did Theo know? These motherfuckers. Oh Lord our God, Reverend Brother Ward begins. We are thankful for the love you have given to Theodore and Esther's life. I say no. Every head snaps up. What? Mum gasps. No, I repeat. No, I don't agree to this. Theo reaches for me, but I whirl on him and snap my teeth so close to his face that he falls onto his arse into the dirt. Fuck you, Theo. I know I'm supposed to hold it together. I know, but I can't fucking stand this. I raise to my full height with teeth bared and saliva dripping from my jaws, tinged black like the shit flowing through my veins. Soldiers raise their guns like I'm no better than a beast to be put down, and Mum screams at them to stop. Benji, Theo pleads. Benji, please, stop, don't do this. Did they even think about this for a second? Were they so ignorant that they thought I'd take this lying down? They know what they made. I'm done begging for a scrap of respect. I'm done with those who enact suffering, and I am done with the sons of bitches who stand back and let it happen. Crack. A gate guard screams. We look up just in time to see a man topple from the sniper perch and hit the road with a heavy, dull thud. Thank God, thank God, thank God. The watch is here. The watch is here. Chapter 33. For in all the book of Revelation we see, we are God's chosen to break the seals, to bring forth holy war, to cleanse the earth and pave the way for him. We shall do his will and bring the end of times down upon the world, the end times, O Lord, the end times, O Lord. Sister Mackenzie's Sunday school lesson. This is how New Nazareth falls, in the wails of graces and stench of blood, the same screams that must have come when Sodom and Gomorrah collapsed under the weight of their sins. Those lights stretching to the horizon, burning under my skin, they all blaze for me. The Graces standing guard at the gate brighten and erupt with fury. They surge forward like the real flood that God brought down in a rage, grabbing limbs and heads, tearing flesh from bone. The taste of blood fills my mouth like it's my own. This is your chance, I whisper. They are the ones who hurt you. If they believe in judgment, let them feel it. The people around me drop like the Lord has cut their strings. Watch snipers aim for the center mass of the soldiers standing around me, and the ones too far to get a clear shot at my body clutch their stomachs and skulls as I whisper, to me, and coax the flood out of their cells and into their bones. Reverend Brother Ward shatters the same way his brothers had at the riverbank. Brothers and sisters I grew up with crumble. Mum falls to the grass and blood streams over her delicate fingers. And above me, on the walls of the new Nazareth gate, are the same black forms that saved me weeks ago. The Watch. My people. Then Sister Kipling falls. 2 shots, high and hollow. Different than the low chatter of rifles, a sudden wrongness that makes the flood slip through my fingers. A pair of dark red spots bloom on her chest. She blinks like she isn't quite sure what's happening, and she stumbles to her knees, grabbing one of the crosses on the way down. Her fingers snag the cloth and it tears from the nails holding it in place. That wasn't the Watch. That wasn't even an angel soldier. It couldn't have been. That was... Theo holds a pistol to my eye. His arm tightens around my giant neck and crushes our face together. My whole body, his shield from the Watch snipers, even as his broken grace hand squirms in every way it shouldn't. My head is the only thing between a bullet and his skull. My concentration shatters. The flood escapes me. People scream, Graces howl. Soldiers struggle through the pain of the virus to raise their rifles. But I am still. You told them, Theo wheezes. You brought them here. My voice catches in my throat. I can't speak. And she helped you, didn't she? He pushes the gun closer. I heard what the text said about her. You got into her head, made her weak. You did this to her, didn't you? The way he says, didn't you? The way he trembles. He doesn't want to believe it. It's in the quiver of his hand, the way his eyes keep flicking towards fallen body. There's a gold ring in the Reverend's palm. Our engagement ring. What was supposed to be our wedding ring. Theo, I say, put that down. You're not saying you didn't. My hesitation must be all he needs. He takes a thick, ugly syringe from his pocket and plunges it through the tense muscle of his thigh, through robes and layers of white cloth. The gun trembles but doesn't drop as he slams down the plunger, and the strange, milky liquid inside pushes into his body. The label on the syringe reads, Host 12, Dominion. He stole it from the lab. You know I'm smarter than that, babe. He pulls the syringe out of his leg and drops it, where it glints menacingly in the grass. You think I wouldn't have a backup plan? You thought I wouldn't be careful with a heretic like you? Host 12, Dominion, a failed version of Seraph, moves like a breathing thing. Theo's skin begins to boil, folding over on itself and expanding. His robe shreds as twisted wings erupt in a spray of blood. An angel stumbles too close and Theo grabs them by the arm and pulls them against him. Into him. His flesh melts into something else, consuming the body whole. Bones snapping out from the skin and overflowing with tumors, eyes, and teeth. He grabs another angel, slams them into himself, and explodes with organs and broken limbs. He smiles, a mouthful of fangs, flood rot weeping from open wounds. Dominion is nothing like Seraph. Put together from spare parts, fingers reaching out from the skull, eyes opening across his neck and shoulders. His 6 wings melt into one another, with shifting ropes of tissue, excess arms and legs dripping from his sides. Blonde hair sticks out from bulging tumors and spikes of bones erupting from his jaw. You thought that I'd let you mess this up? Theo rasps. That's not his voice. It's nothing like it. I believed in you, Benji, but there are consequences for your actions. I had to be careful. I had to be sure. I grab for the flood to stop him, but it slips through my fingers. No, not slipped. Pulled. Did you really think I was going to let you ruin this? with a scream like metal on metal, or maybe someone being torn apart. Dominion seizes me by the skull and drags me down into the culling fields. Floating. Drowning. My lungs burn. I can't open my eyes. I claw my way up toward air, but my body is so small and my limbs are so weak. I kick and struggle, and when my lungs are about to collapse, I burst through the surface. A warm wind blows through the trees, sending whirls of autumn leaves flying off twisted branches. I've surfaced in the red stream. It's so freakishly deep. It's flooded so much that the world is a flat plain of blood water. Trees and buildings jut out of the surface like the bones of the boy smeared into the road. Dozens of bodies hang from the trees. I recognize every single one. Sister Kipling, her face grey and bloated. Dad, a bloody mess. Every single member of Squad Cavalry. And how do I know their faces? I can't. I struggle to shore, or what I think is shore, and find ground under my feet. My skin is stained, water dripping off my fingers and chin. My hands are human, not Seraph's, not mine. Behind me, a cough. I turn. Theo drags himself onto shore, struggling for air on his hands and knees. He's just a boy. No dominion, no flood. Just a pale boy with pink lips and bright blue eyes. Eventually, he gets his breath. You lied, he whimpers and stands. Leviticus 20:27. They shall be stoned with stones, their blood shall be upon them, clutching a jagged rock. Nicholas. Chapter 34. There's not much to say about the tragedy of Squad Cavalry, except that we should have seen the sin in that boy from the start, and that it was an unfortunate failure that my son will not repeat again. The General of New Nazareth. What the hell is that? Faith's elbow strikes Nick's ribs, and if she keeps moving like this, he's going to have to tie her down to get her up off the wall. She's completely red with blood. Head wounds bleed like a motherfucker, but the pain hasn't hit her yet. She's on the walkway with wild eyes, demanding, "What the hell? What the hell?" You good? Aisha demands. She doesn't move where she's keeping a steady stream of fire raining down on the lawn of New Nazareth. She's not allowed to be distracted, no matter how much she's shaking. No matter that she saw a bullet hit Faith in the head and now Faith is down and screaming. Her voice cracks when she says, "Nick, is she good?" She's fine. He holds Faith by the shoulders, by the jaw, trying to get her back to her senses. Stop moving. He's keeping it together. He saw Brother Claiborne down on the lawn, those blue eyes and terrifyingly handsome face. And he's keeping it together, so why can't they? She's supposed to be a goddamn soldier. Nick bites down on his lip so hard it bleeds, and he drags Faith's arm across his shoulder. She's still making terrible noises. He draws down a shutter across the part of his mind that registers it as heartbreaking. Just because he can shut himself down, just because he can cram all the terror into a bottle, postpone the meltdown until he can explode without anyone getting hurt, doesn't mean that others should be forced to do the same. All right, Nick whispers, pulling Faith close to him. The sweat, the skin on skin, the gunpowder, the ringing in his ears, and the weight of his rifle slamming against his back with every step. It will destroy him as soon as it is over, but right now he is holding it together. His job is to hold it together. Up you go, come on. He pulls her down the stairs. The bottom of the gate is a terrifying opening, just a cramped space between the gate itself and the blood bath, and Nick pauses there, waiting, until a Grace barrels past. Then he's pulling her through the gap, and she's crying into Nick's shoulder because the pain has hit, and it's clicked that she just got shot in the head. She collapses. Sadaf catches her before she hits the ground. Sadaf's pink hijab is a mess of stains, blood, sweat, dirt, God knows what else. It's shallow, he explains. Faith squeezes her eyes shut. Shiny bits of muscle stick out from her face. Just a graze. Keep an eye on her arm. Sadaf nods and pulls Faith away from the slaughter. The ALC set up base along the empty road, right across from the gate, as soon as the little creature brought him the bead lizard. Nick had known what it was immediately. A message. That Benji was still alive, that he was waiting for them. Across the street from this awful place, the place Nick had brought them back to, Erin yanks open the door of an abandoned florist shop to let in Sadaf. Faith is okay. Erin is okay. That's his job. Nick allows himself 4 seconds to feel the trans bead lizard in his pocket, resting right next to his own, to center himself, to get his heartbeat back to where it needs to be. 2 seconds to breathe in, 2 seconds to breathe out. 2 seconds to pack Brother Claiborne into the deep part of his mind where he won't come back. 2 seconds to reconcile the boy shivering against him with Sadaf howling among the monsters. 4 seconds end, and he snaps each thought off at the root and drowns them, because if he doesn't, he'll melt down. Turns back to the bloodshed, pulls the gun into his hands, and goes through the gate. Back to where the world is ending all over again. One step into New Nazareth, and the crosses beside the gate are demolished in a screaming song of disintegrating wood. Nick stumbles back against the stairs, right inside the rough barrier. Twisted flesh and feathers shake off massive splinters, wailing with rage. Benji. It's Benji. The creature Faith was crying about is Benji. Seraph, Benji, is terrifying in his beauty, in his brutality. That's him. That's the boy who wanted to kiss him, who promised to come home, who made him face the broken fucking thing the angels had turned them both into. Nick realizes, horrifically, that he adores that boy with every ounce of himself, in a way that refuses to be packed down and ignored like everything else, and that is why he slams his fist into the stairs to shatter his train of thought. He pulls himself back onto the wall. He slides into place beside Aisha. She's not going to last much longer. She looks like she's going to break with every breath she takes. On the other side of the gate, on the other wall, Cormac and Salvador struggle to keep up with the swarm of angels between them and Benji. This has to end soon, or they're not going to make it. It's up to Benji now. All the Watch has to do is make sure he survives long enough to break this place apart. But that thing. That fucking thing. Brother Claiborne, or what's left of him. The beast is a mockery of Benji, an unholy twin. It's what happens when the Seraph strain tears through its host too quickly for it to possibly stay intact. So desperate for meat, it feeds on the corpses littering the ground. The soldiers, still alive, choke on their own vomit and shatter under the weight of the virus lying dormant in their bodies. One topples in the middle of the road as his head comes apart into a mush of brain matter. Benji and the beast smash together, ripping flesh and snapping bone, until the beast grabs Benji by the wing and twists him to the ground. Benji screams and barely tears out of its grasp, scuttling backward with his wing held awkwardly like an injured bird. The battlefield begins to change. The first error, and Nick registers it as an error, a Grace turns for the stairs on the opposite side of the gate, the ones that lead right to Salvador, and snaps its teeth inches from Zerleg. Zoni barely manages to put a bullet in the soft tissue of its eye as Cormac drags Zem back. The second, a twisted hand reaching up from the stairs, his side of the stairs. Shit, he's been too focused on the lawn. He hasn't been watching his stairs. And sinks its claws into his thigh. The angel it's attached to wails, bloated skin marred with too wide mouth that explodes into gore. Nick's response is an instinct. Pull the knife from his pocket, flick the blade out, strike. The first hit breaks the nose and the angel screams, and Nick yanks it out and slams it back in. This time it hits the eye and goes right through to the brain. It pops, and liquid streams down his hand. The angel convulses, claws digging deeper before finally going limp. Nick muffles a cry. His thigh is a shredded mess of raw meat, wet and glimmering. The earth shakes as a Grace hits the ground, and he can't hear his own thoughts past the screaming of gunfire and the shouting of orders. His mind grabs for something to hold on to. The pain snatches it away, taunting him. Mistake, mistake, mistake. This is what happens when he's wrong. People get hurt. The angel didn't hit anything that's going to kill him fast. Just everything that's going to kill him slowly. God, the wound is so big. He's so focused on his leg that he doesn't notice the angel climbing over the wall behind him until something drips onto his forehead. He looks up to see a mass of flesh and organs grinning down at him. And as soon as Aisha blows the angel's head off, something in Nick's face shatters too. Something trying to tear its way out of his skull. Something has torn out of his skull. Pain drives his vision to a single white point, and everything in his throat chokes on its way out. Bile floods his throat until he sputters for air, and it comes out of his nose. He tears down his mask, and the same black shit falls out of his mouth, splattering his chest and pants. The nest. The church. The flood. Saraf is making the flood bloom. The virus he took into his body when he kissed the nest at Reformation. No, Benji is too distracted. He's lost the graces. It can't be him. It's the beast. Taking Benji's powers and making a mockery of them. Nick has been away from the angels for too long. The virus has gotten weak in his head, away from other carriers, dormant and isolated all those months. And that means he has time. He drags the angel's broken body over his, wearing the mangled corpse like armor as he forces himself up to his knees. Despite the pain, Jesus Christ, the pain, just high enough to see over the edge of the wall. His hands tremble, little pieces of bone jutting out from under his skin. Weakness can only be an excuse for so long. Breathe in, out. Pull the gun closer, settle the stock against his shoulder. Breathe. On the lawn, Benji is on all fours, wings tucked in close, shoulders down like a cowed dog even as he gnashes his teeth at the beast towering over him. The twisted thing flaps its broken limbs and howls. Nick was an angel. He was made for war. Breathe. Benji lunges, tearing a bright streak from the Grace's stomach and exposing a pit of pulsing muscle. A string of what looks like intestines catches in his teeth, unraveling a nest of pink organs and yellow fat before the beast grabs Benji by the neck and smashes him into the broken tangle of crosses like a ragdoll. The flood sinks its claws into the empty space of Nick's skull. The wound on his face pulses with his heartbeat. He remembers how Benji talked to the Graces without ever speaking, how he could barely move his lips, and they would understand. For the first time in a long time, Nick puts his faith in something and prays. Benji, can you hear me? Benji makes an awful whimpering sound and pulls himself from the wreckage, splinters falling off his wings in a chorus. The Grace screams a war cry. He prays, I'm here. I'm ready. Benjamin. Chapter 35. Sometimes the martyrs speak of a place beyond us, beyond the understanding of those here on this earth. As my faith wavers and wanes most days, I wonder, is it heaven? Could it be? Sister Kipling's notes on the flood. Red, bloody water drips off the sharp point of the stone, off Theo's fingers, falling in rivers down his pale cheeks. It stained his robes pink, the same festering shade as infected gums. His head is still shaved, his robes still soldier robes. There's a hitch on his shoulder where he moves, and a curl of his lips, his Cupid's bow twisted into a sneer. He's crying. I've never seen him cry before. He didn't cry when his mother martyred herself on Judgment Day. He didn't cry when his father flayed him alive. A teardrop traces its way through the slick water on his face. His eyes are red, and he's crying. The blood water bubbles from my mouth. My normal human mouth. No fangs, no wounds. Without the flood, I'm just a boy. No graces to call, no angels to shatter. I don't even have the testosterone to back me up on the boy part. And Theo has half a foot and 50 pounds on me. A cis boy who could shatter me if he put his mind to it. Who has done it before. Who is more than happy to do it again. He raises the rock to point at me, his arms shaking. What, he gasps, is wrong with you? I step back. My shoe sinks into the slurry of mud and grass. Theo, Is this what I sounded like just days ago? How could anyone have seen me as a guy with a voice, a body like this? Put that down, please. They gave you everything. He closes the space between us and then some. He's almost within arm's reach, close enough that the rock could almost smash into my skull. Do you even understand how much you're throwing away? How many people you're fucking over? His name comes out of me like a prayer. Like reminding him he's human will snap him out of this. Theo, please. All because you don't like it. He laughs, and his pale, pretty face twists into something more like dominion than the boy I fell in love with. I take another step back and nearly trip over the submerged sidewalk. You've never liked anything about yourself, have you? Always trying to change it. You've never accepted what you've been given by God. He was the one who told me being trans wasn't a mistake, that God made me trans on purpose. Did he never actually believe it? Shut up, don't you dare. You'd burn the world down if you thought it'd finally make you happy with what you're supposed to be in this life. This life. You'd have a perfect one waiting for you if you just swallowed it like everyone else. But that would never work, because I don't believe in heaven. The realization crashes down, sinks its claws into me, threatening to drag me to the water. I don't believe in it. I never have. I could tell myself that it all existed. I was just too wrong to feel it. That I had faith no matter how broken I was, but oh God, I never believed. That's it. That's what it comes down to. We exist in two entirely different versions of the world. Theo sees heaven waiting for him when he dies, a life beyond this, something more. I see Dad's face in a fucking black hole. No matter how much I tell myself that there's a heaven, I just can't believe it. My mind refuses to grasp it. It recognizes the idea, but as soon as I try to say it's true, I hit a wall. The same wall I'd hit if someone told me sewer water could be fresh and clean and clear if I swallowed and believed hard enough. It would be such a relief if I could just believe there was something after this, but I can't. It's terrifying. I say, if you really think there's something after this, that still doesn't excuse what you're doing now. Don't say that like we're the bad guys. You are. Jesus Christ, you are. 9 billion people. You killed. Theo growls. That's not the point. What, genociding the entire human race wasn't the point? I fling my hand at the ghostly copies of New Nazareth buildings behind us, sticking up from the flood. Like you haven't spent your whole life praying for this world to be wiped clean. Besides, a bunch of rich white Christians and a handful of undesirables they decided were useful enough to man the guns. Stop. I'm one of those undesirables, Theo. You are too. Don't. They just tolerate you because you do what you're told. The words come so easily, because I have seen what the angels have done to the world and I understand. They don't give a shit about you, and no amount of sucking up to God and your dad is going to change that. Theo lets out a low, guttural howl, just like Dominion, and lunges for me. He brings the rock up wide to smash it down on my face. Bloody flower, shattered skull. But he's so much bigger than me, and I slip under his arm. Slam all my weight into his side. We crash into the water together, splattering our faces. Theo scrambles to get himself upright. He's not holding the rock. He dropped it. I dig under the water to find it, but the blood is so thick I can't see and my fingers push into mud. Theo's elbow hits my ribs. I fall into the water. He's on top of me. He shoves me onto my back. His knees press into my stomach. I see his snarling face for just a second before he plunges my head underwater. Don't breathe. I grab for the flood in his head, like I can pull it out of his body and leave an exit wound like the one they left in Dad. I reach out for a grace that can snap their jaws shut and break him in half, but there's nothing. Just that girl's skull breaking with the force of the flood, her hand reaching out for mine. I want it back. I want Seraph back. I want it back not because of the power, because it's who I am, and I am done being thrown among so many bodies. Theo's arms tremble with the strain of holding me down. My nails find his cheek. His hand comes down on the side of my face, pressing my skull against the edge of the sidewalk. He could bash my head into the concrete if he wanted. I am part of the ALC. I am part of the Watch, the people who kill angels, who fight back, who turn the extermination back on the exterminators. I am Seraph, and some boy isn't going to be the fucking death of me. Wait. The Watch. My head is going light from lack of oxygen, and the bloody water is burning my eyes, and I reach into my pocket to find the knife. This is the knife Nick gave me. The one he gave me because he saw a warrior, because a person like Seraph would be able to walk through the flames of hell and come out snarling and burned, but alive. The knife I haven't had since I gave it back to Nick in his room. But I haven't had these clothes either. I haven't had this body. And I'm not going to be afraid of some boy. Click. The knife hits once. That's all it has to do. It sinks right into the soft flesh beneath Theo's ribs, and I rip it out as hard as I can. A hot cascade of blood erupts across my hand, and Theo screams and stumbles away, his weight suddenly disappearing from my chest. I sit up, water rushing over my face. It falls into my mouth and I struggle for air. Fresh red swirls around my arms, bright against the dark, browning pink. I shove myself to my feet, head swimming, trying to focus my vision. Theo stands half bent in the water, robes pooling around his shins, clutching his side. Blood trickles through his fingers. His robes have fallen off his shoulder. He never bulked up much as he claimed he would. And there are bandages sprawling the expanse of his back, peeking from his underclothes. Bandages? For what? What kind of injury would follow Theo into the culling fields? A tattoo. I'm wearing cargo shorts and a jacket. I haven't worn these clothes or held this knife in days. Theo hasn't had death squad tattoos in months, let alone fresh ones that hurt. He lets out a small pained noise, barely holding himself upright. His shoulders hitch. He's dressed like he's always wanted to be, the way he's always seen himself, a soldier. And I'm dressed the way I've seen myself lately, a kid only playing soldier behind enemy lines. The bodies hanging from the trees of the deaths that have followed us. The stream shifts and changes with the bodies above it and the boys in it. This place is what we make it. I drop the knife into the water. It hits the surface with a hollow sound and sinks. Theo, I murmur. His glassy eyes focus on me. You have no idea what you're doing, he says. You're going to hurt so many people. Slowly I reach him. My hand curves to his cheek. He flinches away, more blood streaming through his fingers, his sheet white lungs laboring for breath. My hand is so much bigger than his. His baby blue eyes widen as he looks up, cracked lips parted just enough for me to kiss him. Benji! Nick's voice. As if through the water, warped into something grace-like. Can you hear me? My teeth sink into Theo's bottom lip. My wings drag in the blood water. The warm spring sun beats down hard between glittering glass buildings and the new Nazareth wall, and I know the world has returned because I would know that voice anywhere. Nick says, I'm here. He says, I'm ready. My claws dig into the thick mass of tumors swallowing Theo's neck, and I tear back, rearing my head like I'm taking out a soldier's throat. Dominion's bottom jaw snaps between my teeth, tongue and muscle ripping with a rush of black sludge. I reply, look. Nick hears me. The air explodes. Theo's head caves around the bullet, his warped skull crumpling in on itself like it's been bashed in, his left eye swallowed up in the deep, dark hole. Chapter 36. And be kind to one to another, tender-hearted. Ephesians 4:32. The carnage. God, the carnage. As I stare at the body of a father who had broken the neck of his infant as soon as the grace is set upon the crowd, I remind myself of the babies drowned in the river. These are the people who would cheer to see my friends' bodies hanging from the gates. These are the people who prayed for me to slaughter what little remains of the human race. They did this to the world. This is their own fault. They brought this upon themselves. But that doesn't make me feel better. Nick told me it's okay to be scared. And looking out over the field of corpses, I am terrified. Dominion, Theo, lies in the grass at my feet. His brain is dead, but the virus hasn't gotten the message, snaking through his suffering body. The Graces, the ones still alive, flee to the far corners of New Nazareth, unsure of where to go, but understanding that the safest place is to be away. Is this what the martyrs of Judgment Day witnessed before the flood took them to? Was this the smell? Was this the silence? No, not silence. Someone is shouting. Stand down, don't shoot! Nick. Oh God. That's Benji, put your guns down! I turned just in time to see Nick collapse into Aaron's embrace, a shivering, blood-soaked ball with his arms clamped over his head. Those who need help are taken back to the ALC. The rest stay in New Nazareth to deal with what we've done. Sarmat and another large boy, Rich, build a stretcher for Nick since he can't walk on his own. He refuses to take a big scrap of cloth away from his face. At first, Nick shoves Erin away when she tries to coax him onto it. She gently points out that we didn't lose anybody. We didn't lose anybody. We're all okay. It's over. That's enough to get him to agree to leave, but not enough to get him onto the stretcher. He stares at it like it's the greatest form of humiliation he's ever seen. Erin tries to reason him on, but Cormac shakes his head and says, all right, go then. And Nick tries to get to his feet but falls. That's what I thought. Come on, boss. Faith goes. The wound on her arm is too bad. The one on her face, too painful. Salvador goes too, because Z walks out onto the lawn and sees the expressions of the dead and can't stop sob-laughing long enough to breathe. Sadaf goes with them, wiping blood off her hands and telling Lila to deal with the rest. Aisha lets out one long, muffled wail, but after Cormac helps her to her feet, she's shockingly okay. I'll lose my shit in a few, Cormac says, glassy-eyed while Aisha clings to his arm, trying to regain her balance. Give me some time. Erin leans against my gnarled arm and stares past the bodies toward the towering buildings of New Nazareth. Kincaid Chapel, the health center, the student union, the dormitories. There are no questions about my body. We all heard Nick well enough. So, Erin says, what do we do first? I don't know where to start. The ears, I guess? Aisha said, we don't need them anymore. She flings a hand at the landscape as if it'll hide her shaking. We've got all this. Fuck the Vanguard. Condescending, cowardly pieces of shit. It's a glorious roar, and it sets off every living soul standing in the wasteland of blood and mess. We're screaming at the Vanguard, at the angels, at every motherfucker who's done anything to us. Erin flings her arms around my neck and staggers, squeezing her eyes shut. Across campus, Grace is wailing so much pent-up anger that I can feel it flowing through my veins. A flood. A real flood. And we are alive. We are alive. We are alive. Holy shit, we are alive. We decide we'll search a few buildings for supplies to bring back to the ALC, to tide us over until we decide what to do. Everyone but me, that is. I said I'd deal with the bodies alone. Nobody argues because nobody wants to deal with the blood, organs, and limbs. I don't either, but I'm the one who can stomach it. I need to see the dead. Reverend Brother Ward and my engagement ring are stamped into the dirt. Sister Kipling's corpse curls around the wound in her chest as if she could survive if she held it tight enough. Find every soul I know and then some, and I press my face into the dirt and breathe in, breathe out the stench of Judgment Day. I find Mum. She bled out from a hole in her face. Bullet went in by her nose and came out by her ear, but she's recognizable the same way Dad was. How fitting that she went out like her husband did. To lose both of my parents to the same senseless war. We will return to the earth, for out of it we were taken. For from dust we were made, and to dust we will return. Maybe it would be better if I did believe in God, in heaven, in hell. If I could believe she's going somewhere that will punish her for what she's done. But I can't. When I pick up her body, a sad, limp bundle of meat and bones, I can't believe that. Maybe I'll change my mind eventually. Maybe something will happen and I will finally feel that push, that call to faith, but until then, I'm okay not believing in anything at all. I find Theo. His body is the one that makes me stop. He looks like me, kind of, but what my corpse would look like after days of decomposition. A version of me long dead. Is that what he was? A queer boy like me who rotted under the weight of what happened to him? How easy would it have been for me to end up just like him? My eyes burn. My vision dissolves into blurry smears of colour. I plunge my hand into his flesh. I pull together the flood from his body, what lingers in his corpse and build. I take out pieces, draw from his organs and bones, and sew it together with sinew. I cut apart his skin and pull out a little creature, eyes squeezed shut and shivering, wet from the blood and pus. Theo loved me. I loved Theo. He was wrong and he was a monster, but I did. I do. Maybe I'm just a stupid boy, but I don't know. Maybe in another world, one that didn't ruin him, we could have been better. I hold the tiny creature to my chest. There is no other world, just the one we have here. And in this one, I am alive. I pull my engagement ring from the dirt and fit it in the creature's little palm, and I set them down. I wave my hand and whisper, "This world is yours. What do you want?" They stay by me. We come back to the bank late in the evening. Erin and Aisha and Cormac, Sarmat and Lila and Carly, all of us, have been talking the whole day about the future, about what will happen to the angels across the world, about how Acheson will change. By the time we make it back to the courtyard, though, we are quiet. The realization of what we'd done and what's going to happen swirl into a blurry mass of past, present, and future, of fatigue and occasional fits of disbelieving laughter. One erupts when Faith picks out the little grace that's followed us home and spins them around, saying, "Hello, you're an ugly little thing, yes you are." The people who didn't come to New Nazareth, who stayed back to hold down the fort, gawk at me, touch my face, and ask if it's me, if it's really me. Does it hurt? Am I okay? Are the angels really dead? Not all of them, I say, but enough. I think it hits us all at the same time that maybe we'll live long enough to grow up. But as soon as I find a place to breathe, Sadaf comes up to me and says, "Nick wants to see you. He's in the copy room." I run to him. The copy room has been set up as a miniature version of Nick's room in the ALC. A mattress, his beads, dim lighting, and not much else. I squeeze my massive body through the door, wincing when my wings catches on the threshold. It's just the two of us here, alone. Nick tries to smile. It doesn't work. He looks like hell. He's sitting up on the mattress, supported by the wall, surrounded by stained bandages and shreds of clothing. Part of his pants leg has been cut away to reveal jagged wounds packed with gauze. His mask is down, but he's holding the same ruined cloth to his face, and I realize with growing horror that he's just as much of a death squad soldier as the angels who were torn to shreds by the flood at New Nazareth. He takes the cloth down. A fault line has opened across his face, from the left side of his forehead down across his eye all the way to his chin. Teeth sprout from odd parts of his cheek. The affected eye sits low in its socket, the bone holding it up shattered. I could fix that. I know I could. But before I can finish the thought, Nick squeezes his eyes shut. Too loud. Okay, he's here and he's alive. That's what matters. I lie down beside him, the only way to get down to his level, and my head settles against his knee. Not touching it, no, but close enough. His gaze sweeps over the broad forest of spikes, exposed bone, and feathers of my back and shoulders. The kink in my wing, the wounds, welts, and cracks in my skin. We can talk about it all later. We don't have to speak right now. We promised we'd speak after I came back from New Nazareth. And now we have all the time in the world. Nick reaches for me. His fingers press against my weird, broken excuse for a nose, the ridge of my brows, the soft spot under my eye, the edge of my jaw, the rough skin smothering my skull, the sores on my neck, all the things the flood has done to me. And he grabs the back of my head and pulls me up, arms trembling with the strain. I scramble up to follow him. He pulls me in until our foreheads are pressed together again, and I don't realize how much I'm shaking until he holds me tighter just to keep me still. This is home. I am alive. These are my friends. This is my family. Wherever the watch is, I'm home.